Well, it happened. America is now living in a post-Roe v. Wade world. I covered most of the gruesome and inevitable results of this decision in my video from back in May, when someone originally leaked this decision, so I won't spend too much time rehashing that. The basic idea is that this decision will kill people. Research shows that when states and countries restrict easy legal access to abortion, women continue to seek out abortions at approximately the same rate, and they take bigger risks to get them. Those risks result in more dead women. As an example, check out this heartbreaking New Yorker article that details how one clinic in Houston, operating for 40 years, had to shut down immediately on Friday following the Supreme Court decision. On the phone with one of the medical assistants, a pregnant woman screamed furiously before dropping the phone, "I guess I'll just have to take matters into my own hands, won't I?" The clinic's counselors knew of patients who had thrown themselves down a flight of stairs or had seriously contemplated suicide. "We'll see more babies in the dumpsters," Lupe, another medical assistant, said. Lingering in the parking lot, uncertain, was the Cuban woman who had earlier been given a leaflet that listed options she couldn't read. As she left the clinic, a picketer named Raul had tried to lure her into a large bus that could take her to the Houston Coalition for Life, which he referred to as a medical center, but she decided to walk past him. "I can't keep the child. I already have 3, she said, adding that they were aged 2, 4, and 8. The woman was 5 weeks into her pregnancy. "Why would they do this?" she said of the court. The woman said that she couldn't afford to travel to another state. Even the fund that was meant to pay for her abortion that day had gone dark. But she was convinced that she would find a way. A friend of hers had told her about a Mexican man who could go to her home and perform the procedure. "She told me that if things didn't work out at the clinic, I could always call him," she said hopefully, looking straight at the closed clinic door. Know this, it will not be as bad as it was before Roe v. Wade, because as I said in my previous video, we have medical abortion pills that we can distribute to people who need them. But it will be bad. People like this Cuban woman, will fall through the cracks. People who don't know where to go for help, people who don't speak English, people in abusive relationships, people who are already on the margins of society, they're going to call a man who they don't know to come to their home and use some kind of method to abort the fetus. Will it be the medical abortion pills that the doctors would use that are safe and effective? Maybe. But maybe he can't get those in bulk. Maybe he makes more money by mixing up some pennyroyal, which might result in an abortion, but will more likely kill the patient. Maybe he tries to do a surgical abortion. We don't know. It's understandable that you may hear all of this and desperately want to help. All over social media, I have seen this type of post popping up. Just so everyone knows, if you need to suddenly go on a camping trip to California, you can come over and we go on the camping trip together. We can take my car camping and go for as long as you want. I don't care if we have never talked before. I'll be here to help you with planning out the camping trip and whatever else you might need. So yeah, I get it. I am a privileged middle-class white lady living in a state with a government that has repeatedly reassured residents that they will protect our rights and privacy from the religious right. And they further promised non-residents that they will be welcome to come here for health care if they need. So of course, I want to leverage that privilege to help others. And further, I want to let others know that they're not alone. And to be honest, maybe I also want a little pat on the back for being a good person. Like, maybe a little bit. Come on, admit it. Here's the thing. Cops, prosecutors, and judges aren't idiots. Well, most of them aren't idiots. Well, most prosecutors and judges. Anyway, I digress. They know what camping is. If regressive conservative states criminalize traveling out of their state to get an abortion, they will prosecute pregnant people for camping, and maybe they're going to try to prosecute prosecute you too for helping with the campaign. So yeah, there's no need to get clever. You can just say abortions. But also, let's look at this from the perspective of a random person who lives in, say, Texas, who needs an abortion but can't get one. I assume these messages are directed at strangers, since personally, I know that all of my friends already know that I am here for them with a guest room if they need to come here to have an abortion, like, obviously. So a stranger out there is in desperate need of an abortion, but they don't have the funds or the ability to get to a clinic out of state, meaning that they are vulnerable in every sense of the word. Maybe they don't even speak English. So while prosecutors know what camping means, they don't. But let's say that they do, and they happen across this public post from a stranger offering help. They have nowhere else to turn. They don't even have an unnamed guy that they can call to come to their home to perform a sketchy abortion. I fervently believe that at least 99% of the people posting this stuff right now have their hearts in the right place. But there are reasons why a handful of people might not be so wholesome. Maybe they're a forced birth proponent trying to lure marginalized pregnant people to one of their crisis pregnancy centers. Maybe they're a forced birth proponent who is catfishing in order to report this pregnant person to the authorities. Maybe they're an abusive man looking for a vulnerable woman to control and trap. Maybe they're a serial killer. We basically just invented a new way to murder women seeking abortions. I know you want to help, and you want to help hands-on, and you want to be part of what you keep calling the Underground Railroad of abortions, despite the fact that a lot of Black activists are begging you to stop doing that because that's already a thing. We had that. It was about slavery. It's a very specific phrase. We can come up with something else. But here's the good news. We do already have a network of pro-choice organizations with vetted employees and volunteers who have spent decades mobilizing for this very moment. The National Network of Abortion Funds was formed in 1993 as a coalition of 22 different abortion funds from 14 different states. And now they include more than 80 organizations across 38 states and 4 countries. And they provide direct funding to people needing abortions, covering the cost of the medication, transportation, housing. They also, in addition to those, they provide much needed services that help the most marginalized people. Things like translation services and education to help people navigate an increasingly hostile and confusing process. And they are swamped. You know, do you remember that story of the Cuban lady? She had an abortion fund helping her and they went dark. Even before the Supreme Court decision, the National Network of Abortion Funds could only afford to support about 1 out of 4 patients in need. Now they are completely flooded with panicked people suddenly unable to access basic health care. And they need you and me to step up and help. There are ads on this video, and I'm hoping that YouTube leaves this monetized because I will donate 100% of the revenue to the National Network of Abortion Funds. And I hope that if you are able to do so, you will join me. In case this isn't monetized, I've already thrown $100 to start things off. I know that just throwing money at a problem doesn't seem like enough. It doesn't feel good enough. I can assure you that money is the resource that these organizations need the most right now. But if you want to get more hands-on, you do have other options. The National Network of Abortion Funds provides an easy search function to allow you to find your local funds, which often are in desperate need of volunteers. For instance, I looked up what was available in California. I found Access Reproductive Justice. They need practical support volunteers. According to their website, they will vet you, they'll give you training, and then you will commit to being on on call for a year, all based on your own availability. It's a flexible schedule thing. When a patient is in need of things like a ride to a clinic, childcare, a place to stay for the night, or translation services, if you are available and if you can provide those services, you can leap into action. These volunteers are crucial in every state, whether that state is protecting our bodily autonomy or not, because even in places like California, there are poor, marginalized people who fall through the cracks. So if you have the time and the resources, go find your local abortion fund and be a superhero. If you're not able to do any of that, that's fine. There's still stuff you can do. You can call your state representatives and let them know that you want them to protect bodily autonomy and right to privacy. And if they don't do that, you're going to vote them out. You can also call your national representatives. Let them know that you want them to do any of the many things that AOC has been agitating for over on Twitter. She's been on fire. Restrain judicial review, expand the court, put clinics on federal lands, expand education and access to Plan C. Those are the medical abortion pills. Repeal the Hyde Amendment. That's the thing standing in the way of clinics on federal land and the federal government funding abortion in general. It's a garbage amendment. Hold floor votes, codifying all of the other things that are at risk. Griswold, Obergefell, Lawrence, Loving, etc. Vote on Escobar's bill protecting clinics. Finally, you can share useful information with others instead of well-intentioned but not particularly helpful posts about camping. If you found this video educational, just liking, commenting, and subscribing goes a long way towards telling YouTube to show this video to other people. I appreciate you just watching and learning here with me. Please stay safe out there. Oh, and if you do need suggestions on places to camp here in California, I'd be happy to help. I do have some info on that. And also, if you need an abortion, I'm not a serial killer.